There exists a question so simple that a 10-year-old child could ask it, yet so disturbing that it reveals the entire absurdity of the global financial system. If the United States owes $35 trillion, if France owes 3 trillion euros, if Japan owes 260% of its GDP, if Germany, Italy, Spain, China, indeed, if all the countries in the world are in debt, then who is the creditor? To whom do all these countries owe money? The answer will shock you, because it reveals the biggest lie of the modern monetary system. Hello everyone, I am a financial analyst specializing in sovereign debt for the past 18 years, and I have studied the monetary creation mechanisms of over 50 central banks around the world. What I have discovered will destroy everything you think you know about money, debt, and the real functioning of the global economy. Because the truth is that global debt does not really exist. It is an illusion, an accounting fiction, a system based on nothing. In this video, you are going to discover who the real creditors of global debt are and why this answer changes everything. You will understand how central banks create money from nothing and why this system will eventually collapse. Most importantly, you will learn who really profits from this system and who pays the price. Stay until the end, because I am going to reveal the exact mechanism that allows a small elite to massively enrich themselves, while the middle class becomes impoverished. Let us start by establishing the numbers. Total global debt in 2025, including government, corporate, and household debt, exceeds $300 trillion. That is $300 trillion. That is 3.5 times the entire global GDP. This means that if we sold everything humanity produces for 3.5 years, we could not even repay all the debt. The United States has $35 trillion in public debt. Japan has $14 trillion. China, $14 trillion if you count the hidden debt of local governments. France, 3 trillion euros. Italy, 2.8 trillion euros. And the list continues. Every G20 country is massively indebted. Even rich countries, even countries with trade surpluses. Everyone owes money. So here is the obvious question. If everyone owes money, who is the creditor? Who lent all this money? The answer will seem absurd at first, but it is the pure truth. The creditors are multiple, and the system is designed so that you never really understand who you owe. First creditor, central banks. But here is where everything becomes insane. Central banks create money from nothing, literally nothing. They press a computer button, and billions of dollars, billions of euros, and billions of yen appear. This money created from nothing is then lent to the government with interest. Read this sentence again, slowly. Central banks create money that did not exist, lend it to the government, and demand that we repay this invented money, plus interest. The Federal Reserve has created over $5 trillion since 2008, from nothing. The European Central Bank has created over 4 trillion euros, from nothing. The Bank of Japan creates hundreds of billions of yen every year, from nothing. And all these countries must now repay this invented money with real taxes collected from real citizens making real sacrifices. Do you see the absurdity? Governments could create this money themselves for free, but instead, they borrow money created by central banks and they pay interest on it. Why? Because the system is designed this way. Central banks are technically independent of governments in most countries. They have a monopoly on monetary creation, and that position generates massive profits for someone. Second creditor, commercial banks. And here is where the system becomes even more twisted. Commercial banks do not lend their depositors money. No, they create money from nothing too. This is called the fractional reserve system. When a bank lends you $100,000 to buy a house, it does not take $100,000 from a vault. It types $100,000 into a computer. This money did not exist before. It exists now. Created instantly. Commercial banks hold massive amounts of government debt, government bonds. Why? Because it is considered a safe investment, and because governments need someone to buy their debt. Banks buy the bonds with money they created from nothing. Then governments repay these bonds with real taxes. Once again, you can see the scam. Third creditor, investment funds and institutional investors, pension funds, insurance companies, sovereign wealth funds, and hedge funds. These entities manage tens of trillions of dollars in assets, and a large part of those assets are invested in government bonds from the United States, Europe, and Japan. Why? Because it is considered safe, and because it generates regular income. But here is the crucial question. Where do these funds get their assets? They come from ordinary citizens. Your pension contributions, your life insurance premiums, your investments. So in reality, you are the creditor of your own government. You lend your money through these funds, and your government repays you through your taxes. It is a completely absurd circle. You work, you pay taxes. Part of those taxes goes to pay the interest on the national debt. That interest is paid to bondholders, many of whom are funds managing your retirement money. You are paying yourself through a labyrinthine system that enriches the intermediaries. China holds over $1 trillion in United States debt. Japan holds about $1.1 trillion. Oil-producing Gulf countries hold hundreds of billions of dollars. Why? Because they have massive trade surpluses. They sell more than they buy. They accumulate dollars and euros. And what do they do with all these dollars? They invest them in United States debt. So the United States buys Chinese products with dollars. China takes those dollars and buys United States bonds. The United States uses this borrowed money to buy more Chinese products. It is a perpetual cycle where no one ever really repays the debt. We just roll it forward eternally. Fifth creditor, and this is the most important one, the future. Here is the ultimate truth that nobody wants to say out loud. The real answer to who is the creditor is future generations. It is your children, your grandchildren. They will pay the debt we are creating today. Every time a government goes into debt, it steals from the future. It takes money that does not exist yet, spends it today, and leaves the bill for the next generations. France borrows 150 billion euros per year to finance its deficit. These 150 billion euros do not come from the present. They come from the future. They are the taxes your children will pay in 20, 30, 40 years. The United States adds $2 trillion to its debt each year. That is $2 trillion taken from the future. Japan has a debt so massive that it would probably take 100 years of surpluses to repay it. Young Japanese today are born with an enormous debt on their shoulders that they never contracted. If you are starting to realize that the entire monetary system is a gigantic Ponzi scheme, if you understand that debt is just a mechanism to transfer wealth from the future to the present and from the poor to the rich, then subscribe to this channel now and activate notifications, because we regularly reveal truths that the financial system does not want you to know. Now, let us dig deeper. How does this system work exactly? Why does no government ever repay its debt? Here is the mechanism. A government needs $100 billion to function this year, but it only collects $80 billion in taxes. It has a $20 billion deficit. What does it do? It issues bonds, promises to pay in the future with interest. The central bank buys some of these bonds by creating money from nothing. Commercial banks buy others. Investment funds buy some. Foreign governments buy some. The government receives its $20 billion and can function. But now its debt has increased by $20 billion plus interest. The following year, it still has a deficit. But now it must also pay the interest on last year's debt. So it borrows even more, $25 billion this time. Its debt increases again, and the cycle continues year after year, decade after decade. The debt never decreases. It continuously increases. And here is why it is mathematically impossible to repay. To repay the debt, a government would need massive surpluses for decades. This means collecting much more in taxes than it spends. But no politician will ever be elected on a platform of massive tax increases and drastic spending cuts. It is political suicide. So the only option is to keep borrowing, to roll the debt forward, to refinance old bonds with new bonds eternally, until the entire system collapses. And it will collapse. History proves it. No system based on infinite growing debt has ever survived. All have collapsed. Rome collapsed under debt and monetary debasement. Spain went bankrupt 6 times despite all the gold from the New World. France went bankrupt before the Revolution. The Ottoman Empire went bankrupt. Argentina has defaulted 9 times. Greece defaulted. All followed the same pattern. Phase 1. The government starts borrowing for legitimate reasons. A war, infrastructure, a crisis. Phase 2. Borrowing becomes a habit. Why raise unpopular taxes when you can just borrow? Phase 3. Debt grows exponentially. Interest accumulates. You have to borrow just to pay the interest on existing debt. Phase 4. Confidence begins to erode. Creditors become nervous. They demand higher interest rates. Phase 5. The death spiral. Rates increase. Debt explodes. The government can no longer borrow. It defaults or massively prints money, causing hyperinflation. We are currently between Phase 3 and phase 4 for most developed countries. Debt is growing exponentially. Confidence is beginning to slowly erode. Central banks must intervene more and more to buy debt because private investors no longer want it at current rates. Now, here is the question that should keep you up at night. Who profits from this system? Someone profits. Someone massively enriches themselves while governments go into debt and citizens become impoverished. First beneficiary, the banks. They create money from nothing and lend it with interest. They cannot lose. If you do not repay your loan, they seize your house, which has real value. They created $100,000 from nothing, and in return, they get a house worth $100,000. It is pure alchemy. Major banks make profits of tens of billions per year. JP Morgan Chase made $50 billion in profits in 2023. Bank of America made $27 billion. These profits come largely from interest on money created from nothing. Second beneficiary, asset holders. When central banks massively create money, where does that money go? It does not go into your pocket. It goes into financial assets, stocks, real estate, and bonds. Those who already own these assets become richer. Those who do not own them become relatively poorer. Since 2008, central banks have created over $20 trillion in dollars, euros, and yen combined. Stock markets have tripled. Real estate values have exploded. Billionaires have seen their fortunes double and triple. Meanwhile, real wages have stagnated or fallen for the majority. This is the largest wealth transfer in modern history, from the poor and middle class to the ultra-rich. Third beneficiary, governments themselves, not the citizens, the institutions, because this system allows governments to spend without limit, to buy votes with costly promises, to finance wars without raising visible taxes. It is an invisible taxation system. Inflation caused by monetary creation is a tax on everyone holding cash, a tax that requires no parliamentary vote. Fourth beneficiary, the financial elite. Fund managers, traders, investment bankers, financial consultants. This entire complex and opaque system requires millions of intermediaries who all take their cut. Every transaction, every loan, every bond, someone takes a commission. These commissions amount to hundreds of billions per year globally. And who pays for all this? You, the ordinary citizen. You pay through your taxes that serve to pay interest on the national debt. You pay through inflation that erodes your purchasing power. You pay through wage stagnation while the cost of living explodes. You pay through austerity, cuts in public services, and reduced pensions. You always pay. The system is designed to extract wealth from the majority and concentrate it in the hands of a minority. This is not an accident. It is not a bug. It is the main feature of the system. Now, what can you do? How can you protect yourself in this rigged system? 5 essential strategies. Strategy number 1. Never keep too much cash. Cash continuously loses its value due to inflation. If you have significant savings in cash, you lose purchasing power every year. Invest in real assets that preserve or increase their value, such as stocks, real estate, gold, and farmland. Strategy number 2. Borrow intelligently. If the system is based on constant inflation, then fixed-rate debt becomes cheaper over time. Borrowing $200,000 today to buy a house means that in 20 years, with inflation, you will repay with currency worth much less. But be careful. Only borrow for assets that increase in value, not for consumption. Strategy number 3. Diversify internationally. Do not put all your eggs in your country's basket. Diversify into international assets, foreign currencies, and global companies. If your country defaults or experiences a monetary crisis, you will have protection. Strategy number 4. Develop high-value skills. In a system where money loses its value, skills keep theirs. Become excellent at something rare and in demand. Your human capital is your best asset. Strategy number 5. Educate yourself financially. The system is intentionally complex. It is opaque by design. Those who understand the rules of the game can play. Those who do not understand are played. Read, learn. Understand how money really works. This is the most important skill of the 21st century. Here is the final truth. The global debt system is unsustainable. It will collapse. It is not a question of if, but when. It could be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. But it will happen. All systems based on exponentially growing debt collapse. It is mathematical. It is inevitable. When it happens, there will be a massive reset. Maybe a widespread default. Maybe hyperinflation. Maybe a new world currency. Maybe a major war that destroys debt, like in 1945. But there will be a reset. The question is not whether you can stop this collapse. You cannot. The question is, will you be prepared when it arrives? Will you have protected your family and your assets? Or will you be another victim who loses everything? If this revelation of the biggest lie of the global financial system has shocked you, if you now understand that global debt is an illusion that enriches a few and impoverishes the majority, then subscribe to this channel immediately. Activate all notifications. Share this video with everyone you love. This knowledge can change their lives. In my next video, I will reveal the 7 precise signs that announce the imminent collapse of a monetary system and why 3 of these signs are already present today. Leave me a comment with what you think. Are you shocked by this system? Have you started protecting yourself? I read all your comments, and they fuel my next videos. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of the greatest financial scam in human history. Remember, the system is designed to keep you ignorant, indebted, and dependent. Your only defense is knowledge and action. You now know who the real creditors are. You now know that debt is an illusion. Use this knowledge to free yourself.